This has been a long tournament. How long has it been?
I have no idea. I didn't participate.
Dude, like, there were 9 prelim rounds, and each was a week. And then there were 1, 2, 3, 4... This is the 5th elim round, so it's been at least 14 weeks of the Nugget Bridge Major. But I think one was 15 weeks. This tournament's been going on for 4 months.
I think it would be cool if everyone like kept track of what teams they used, because I'm sure we could track like how the meta has changed in that time period.
This has been ridiculous. It was a crazy ride. Started off doing mildly well and then ended up doing mildly poorly. Just like every Pokemon tournament. And it looks like about to get into the battle. Patrick, kind of functioning in this tournament as a bit of an underdog, managing to go 8-1 in Swiss against a ridiculous set of opponents, including Massey, Wolf, and a couple of other players that I just can't remember right now, all while streaming and never getting counter-teamed. Then gets into top cut, plays an Australian senior, manages to beat Colin Hayer, 3rd in the world, beat Rushan, who's been doing fantastically, beat Daflo, the German national champion, to make it into top 8 where he faces Major Bowman, whose biggest accomplishment is top 16 in the regional, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and don't forget, this match, there's a lot on the line. Right now, both players have $25, but the winner of this gets bumped up immediely to $75. And so if they win on that, and then if they win the next one, then it's $150, and if they win it all, it's $300. So these players are playing for a lot of money, and for American pride, has unfortunately 2 of the 3 Americans get paired up for each other. So
yeah. And we do have Patrick's team. It will be Charizard Y, Mega Charizard, Weavile, Aegislash, Rotom W, Latios, and Landorus T. That's pretty interesting, honestly. First, you have like the Weavile. Oh, and Major Bowman's team will be Charizard, Terrakion, Whimsicott, Landorus, Thundurus T, and Aegislash. Now,
I mean, we definitely see modes right there. We see the beat up Terrakion, with Whimsicott shenanigans from 2011, which has been coming back.
Possibly a Scarf Thundurus for foolishness, along with a band or Assault Vest Landorus.
For like Fake Tears with Whimsicott pairs very well with Charizard, Thundurus, and Aegislash. Fake Tears has been coming back a whole lot.
And I think the way that Jake opted to play out the counter team is very interesting, because Pat has been using Charizard Y for most of the season and almost every single game on stream. And so Jake didn't want to, counter team too hard. He decided to bring some really offensive options that can shut Pat down. But what I think is interesting about Pat's team is that he has both Latios and Landorus T. And that doesn't seem particularly interesting, but Pat tends to run Choice Scarf Latios with Ice Beam. Most players tend to opt for, Choice Scarf Landorus T that I think could do, really well in this situation.
Right, and then a Life Orb Latios to switch between moves and try to get the damage from the Dragon Gem.
And I know that Jake knows this too, so we're not really sure exactly what Pat's going for here with those 2 Pokemon. And the choice of Weavile, in addition to Aegislash and Charizard Y without even Terrakion, is really interesting, because I'm not exactly sure why he brought that. I guess he'll elucidate it for us. Weavile might carry, Faint. Definitely will carry Fake Out. That's almost guaranteed. And could probably do some heavy damage to things like, these 2 Pokemon as we see right there. We do see a lead of Weavile and Latios against a lead of Whimsicott and Thundurus T.
I don't know what to make of it. This is...
I mean, what you just said about Fake Tears earlier makes a lot of sense, and I think, I think if we saw Fake Tears Thunderbolt here, excluding a Weavile, I would not be very surprised. Or our Ice, maybe. But in this situation, I think Weavile is really fantastic for Patrick in this matchup.
Definitely. These are both 2 very offensive lead matchups, and just Weavile puts him in a huge advantage, because Weavile probably having a Focus Sash and it's able to just fake out. Well, it's probably not going to fake out because it's going to get Encored. Oh, but I guess it's not. I guess he's doubling it.
Onto the Whimsicott, and we see a Draco Meteor coming from Latios being faster than that Thunderous. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean much, but if we don't see Life... Oh, and that doesn't KO. That is definitely
holy cow.
Scarf. Oh my god.
Yeah, no Life Orb recoil. Thunderous using Volt Switch on the Whimsicott, breaking its Sash, going back to Jake. We're seeing what he's going to switch into.
Some Weavile carry foolish items like Flings, like King's Rock.
Hey, it's solid. And we're seeing Jake's Terrakion come out, which I think is a pretty good play because he's... he can just Encore the Weavile into Fake Out, and then he can just go for the free Rock Slide for some decent damage.
That is actually... Yeah, that's pretty smart because right now, Whimsicott definitely has the Prankster ability, which boosts its non-damage moves to have +1 priority, meaning that they go before everything else. So you could definitely see, an Encore onto that Fake. So if Whimsicott Encores, even if it's slower than Weavile, which I think it is, Weavile will definitely have to use Fake Out again, and you could just get free Rock Slides, considering that Latios probably Choice Scarfed and would be locked into a Draco -2 Draco Meteor against Terrakion. And we do see just a Tailwind coming out from Whimsicott, going for a much harder read, knowing that Weavile's likely to protect or switch out. Patrick's definitely aware of the shenanigans of a possible... and we see Life Orb Terrakion. Just going back, definitely one of the shenanigans of Encore. What do you think of Life Orb Terrakion, especially on Terracotta teams?
I mean, the main thing is, though, is that +4 doesn't really matter, right? Your item, it just doesn't matter. A lot of people probably should run Lum on that matchup because Prankster Thunderwave from Thunders is a huge thing. But I guess with Life Orb, the mentality is that he doesn't have to use Beat Up for Terrakion and still did a lot of damage. You saw that it did about 1/3 to the Rotom W, which is typically regarded as very bulky. So if he goes for the Beat Up now, then it's going to just shatter him. And also, maybe another thing is maybe if he gets a bad lead and something gets knocked out and he can only get 3 hits, it still does a lot. But we're seeing Patrick opting to protect his Rotom in case he goes for the Beat Up. And we do see Jake going for the Beat Up onto the Terrakion, getting it to +4 attack. And with a Life Orb, that thing is going... And Tailwind, that thing is going to hurt.
Yeah, it's possible that Patrick did indeed bring the Aegis Slash in the back, which could definitely neuter Terrakion a tiny bit, but at +4, that's just going to be so rough.
Yeah, and a lot of speed-up Terrakions should opt for Earthquake. I think Earthquake is very bad.
No Rock Slide misses. That's going to take out that Weavile, which might have had, say, a low kick, which could take out that Terrakion this turn. We do see Life Orb recoil taking a tiny bit out of that Terrakion, but overall, this is a fantastic position for Jake, especially if Patrick didn't go for Aegis Slash in the back.
Yeah, if he has anything other than the Aegis Slash, it's just, and he says in the Charizard, Patrick's favorite. This is such a tough position already. I don't want to say this is over because this is Rock Slide. It can miss, but this is just not it's not a favorable position for him. He needs a lot to go his way for Patrick.
I think Patrick's best play in this situation is...
Go for a double protect to try and saw out Tailwind first.
Is it still Tailwind?
Yeah, he has 1 more turn.
Oh my god.
No, he has 2 turns left.
Yeah. So if I'm Jake in this position, I think there are 2 possible plays. First is to switch out Whimsicott to try and reset it for later in the game, and the other one is to go for the Encore on the Rotom, hoping that you don't get a miss and then a Hydro Pump to take out the Terrakion. And we do see Patrick going for the Mega Evolution with Charizard. That's going to make Rotom's Hydro Pump do 50% as much damage. He is just hoping for the miss on Charizard, but no, he goes for the Protect, meaning that he's probably going for... Oh, and he goes for the double Protect with Rotom. And we just see
Jake just goes for the +6 Terrakion.
Just being a bit greedy. I think that was a bit of a waste of a turn. Honestly.
Yeah, I do think maybe he doesn't have Encore because if he's already revealed that he's Beat Up, he's already revealed that he's Tailwind. So
that's all he's revealed. I think Encore is a pretty fantastic move choice on.
Encore certainly is a staple, but he might might have opted to have Protect on it, and maybe he is Fake Tears or Blast, but...
Actually, I think that was a really fantastic move. Because now, Close Combat will be able to take out either one of these Pokemon.
Well, I want to say, I've ran the calcs before, and Close Combat at +3 KOs most Charizard-wise anyway. Yeah. But now he's certain that he can
now it has a life
for days.
Now it's +6. And I think, this turn, you could very easily see just a Close Combat onto Latios. You'll be left with Charizard against a Whimsicott, a Thunderous T, most likely Scarf, if nothing else, most likely max speed, which will definitely be faster than that Charizard. And we just see a beat-up going into the Latios. Jake not wanting to switch out, and probably revealing that he doesn't have Encore. And we see Rock Slide. Jake willing to risk the 1% chance that it misses both of those Pokemon in order to hits
both. They're both knocked out. Jake takes a convincing and hasty Game 1 victory. And we're seeing Tommy post in the chat, T-Man. He said that this is his team that Jake's using, and the Whimsicott set is Taunt, Tailwind, Beat Up, and Fake Tears. No Encore, no Moonblast, no Giga Drain, nothing.
To have Fake Tears, I forgot about that. Do you remember what Jake's 6th Pokemon is? It's Whimsicott, Terrakion, Charizard, Thundurus, Aegislash, and...
Landorus Therian.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. So, if you're Patrick, the first way I adjust, definitely...
Aegislash.
Not bringing Charizard. No, you might have to bring Charizard for the Aegislash, but definitely bring Aegislash.
Well, he should definitely bring his own Aegislash.
That is key. I don't think he can win unless he has Aegislash. If Whimsicott can basically get up a free Tailwind against almost all of these Pokemon, unless he doubles into it with, say, a Fake Out and a Psychic from Latios. So, it's definitely gonna... and if he gets a beat-up off, the game's basically over, as we just saw.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's important to note that with Fake Tears, you can easily dispose of the Aegislash, or Jake can dispose of Patrick's Aegislash with, a Thunderbolt from, the Thundurus or
whatever. That is actually pretty important. So what Fake Tears does is it's a 100% accurate move that lowers your special defense by 2 stages. And so moves that you wouldn't expect to do, nearly as much damage as they do, just one-shot things. And things just die. It's one of the weirdest feelings ever when I have a Pokemon, it'll be fine, and then you get, then you take twice as much damage as you thought you would, and then you die. Whimsicott's really interesting in this metagame, because it feels like a gimmick in, every sense of the word. But, Jake's showing right here that it can be effective on, a very solid team and just puts on a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and Whimsicott is Pokemon a lot like Gengar. It has a lot of moves at its disposal that it wants to use, and it's all coming down to the 4 you pick. It can either be extremely useful, or it can either be extremely useless. I think him not picking Encore definitely limits the amount of usefulness that it has. However, we're seeing that it doesn't really matter. Taunt probably serves a whole lot of purposes for this team that I don't know since I haven't tested with.
Yeah, it looks really fast.
Yes, definitely.
Probably weak to Trick Room or something.
Yeah, I can see that, and I can see. I know Patrick is experimenting with Trick Room a lot. He posts on Twitter and in the Skype group a lot about it, so maybe that's why he's opting for Taunt on it. Maybe just trying to cover his options. But we're seeing Game 2 go ahead and starting, and we're seeing the Charizard and Thundurus Therian from Jake's side, and the Weavile and the Aegislash from Patrick. So we're seeing him sticking with the Weavile because he knows, Fake Out was very good. He can Fake Out the Whimsicott if he leads it, and then Flash Cannon it to pick up the early knockout.
Patrick does go for the Aegislash, Aegislash has Wide Guard, Steel type, it's Ghost type, is one of the most perfect Terrakion counters in the game. But this situation is really not looking good for Patrick. Charizard is putting on a ton of pressure on both of these Pokemon, and we're likely to see, if he goes for the Fake Out on Charizard, you could definitely just see it Protect and Thunderous T go for a Volt Switch, into something in the back like his own Aegislash, like Terrakion. most likely to, yeah, I think that's one of the most likely scenarios, that Thundurus either switches out or we do see like an overheat on the Aegislash with, Terrakion coming out to do tons of damage.
I mean, Patrick is able to try and make the best out of this situation. If I guess he's not going to go for the offensive. He's just going to switch out Weavile to preserve it and switch in Thundurus, knowing that it can switch in Landorus, knowing that if he Volt switches the Weavile slot, it's not going to be able to switch out. We're seeing Jake just protect with the Charizard, not Mega Evolving it instead of Sun or anything. Jake going for the Patrick going for the King Shield on his Aegislash, and yeah, Thundurus just a dead turn. We just get the Landorus out for free.
That's actually a really fantastic turn for Patrick, honestly. Because Landorus, wait, that's not a Scarf Landorus. Okay, so
I don't believe so.
First, we're most likely seeing a choiced Thundurus, which means it's locked into Volt Switch. That's going to have to go onto the Aegislash. That's not going to be doing much damage this turn. That's really not where Jake wants to be. But the Landorus, we don't know if it's faster than the Charizard. It might be Assault Vest, which would allow it to survive any sort of foolish, overheat into that slot. But, and Patrick reveals his fourth Pokemon, which is Latios. He has chosen not to go for Charizard. I think that's a very interesting play.
I think it might be the right play depending on if Jake decides he wants to bring his own Aegislash, but we're seeing Charizard Mega Evolving, activating the Sunlight. We're seeing the Volt Switch from the Thundurus Therian being the fastest Pokemon on the field onto the Latios, not doing a whole lot of damage, but we're going back. Wonder what he's going to send out, but we're probably seeing a Rock Slide come out from the
we do see switch into Whimsicott. We do see the Overheat going into Landorus, possibly doing enough damage to take it out, but if it is Assault Vest, as I suspect, will not do enough damage, and we will see a Rock Slide going into that Charizard. That will almost certainly be enough to take it out. Oh my god.
Holy cow. But it is important to note Charizard was faster than the Landorus, so
yeah,
information is important there.
Information is very important. And so Jake's in a bit of an awkward situation right now. His Whimsicott's not really doing that much here. It could possibly get up a Tailwind, but it's not going to be doing much as long as Charizard's out. But he can't just sacrifice Charizard because, he needs it to deal with Aegislash, but he can't just switch it out as the thing that would Pokemon coming in would take tons of damage from what's most likely, say like a Rock Slide Psychic and aimed at the Charizard slot, or a Rock Slide Psychic aimed at, say,
the Whimsicott slot.
Yeah.
So I can see Jake trying to get cheeky, maybe he's going to switch out the Charizard into Terrakion and just beating up that slot. But then there's no Tailwind. Latios isn't Psychic, and it's faster. So then, this is a tough position for Jake. But he made the plays last game. I'm sure he can do it again.
Yeah, Patrick is indeed playing pretty fantastic, trying to bring this back. We do see a switch into the Terrakion.
There we go.
And we do see
going for the Tailwind
instead, opting to set up the speed so that next turn he can. We do see the Ice Beam going into the Whimsicott. Strong play from Patrick, revealing again that it is Choice Scarf Latios. Knowing that what's its face? What is the move I'm thinking of?
Psychic.
That Psychic does not KO Terrakion when you are not Life Orb, and opting instead to take out the Whimsicott, which was the main problem that Patrick had, the ability to get up to +6. But he is in a pretty terrible position right now, as we do see Jake switching back in Charizard. So in this position, Jake's play is very simple. He Heat Waves and he Rock Slides. And there's no harm that can be done to him.
Yeah, I don't think Ice Beam KOs the Charizard at this point, because it's not stab, 90 move, resisted.
It totally would. I could see that. It's not double resisted, it's
single. Oh, is it? Is it neutral? Yeah, because it's fire flying. Oops, guys, don't judge me.
But I think Heat Wave plus Life Orb Rock Slide would be able to take out Latios. The Life Orb coming into play, as we discussed last game, Terrakion being able to, even before getting a beat up. So now it's good. Oh, and we see Jake Indeed, going for the Rock Slide, hitting both of the Pokemon, doing lots of damage to Latios. Will Heat Wave
knocking out the Landers?
That's really key, because now Heat Wave is single target, which makes it do a tiny bit more damage, and we do see Heat Wave hitting the Latios. That will definitely take it out. And a critical hit, just to seal the deal.
All right, that mattered. That mattered.
Add a bit of insult to injury.
Yeah, definitely.
And now plays get a bit iffy. Because I'm looking at that Weavile, and I don't know if it has Faint. That's a really big deal. Because in this situation, maybe fake out's almost certainly enough to take out Charizard.
Definitely.
And maybe Faint isn't, right? But maybe Faint used twice is enough to take out the Charizard. Or maybe
he predicts Charizard protecting this turn, and you can just
Faint it and go for the Flash Cannon on Terrakion. And maybe Charizard switching out, and a Faint plus Flash Cannon will go onto the
Terrakion slot instead.
Maybe a Fake Out will go onto the Terrakion slot and a Flash Cannon, and maybe a Faint will go onto the Terrakion slot and Flash Cannon. This is a very trying position for Jake, but he has to keep Charizard alive. I think that if it came down to just Thunderous T versus Aegislash, it would definitely be a win for Patrick. And so, we're most likely to see... I think we're most likely to see Charizard switching out, but, we really can't tell what's going on. This is one of the ridiculous 50-50 plays. Angel thinks Jake's play right in this turn is easy. And actually I'm inclined to agree with him. I don't think there's much that can be done to punish a switch out from Charizard into Thunderous and, say, like a Rock Slide or a Close Combat into the Weavile slot.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, it just depends on the mind games, right? Because if he goes for the Close Combat on the Weavile,
I'm not sure.
It just depends.
Oh, and we see Terrakion instead protecting...
just going for the double protect, not wanting to take any fake outs.
Not predicting a Faint. We do see a fake out coming from Weavile into the Terrakion. That's going to probably revealing that he doesn't have Faint, or that he was mind game out of his mind. And now...
And he just doubled into the Terrakion slot, probably expecting the Charizard to protect and the Terrakion to go for some, to attack. But, I mean, we're going to see Tailwind go out right here. Patrick's going to double protect with both of his Pokemon, get Aegislash back in shield form. This is the last turn of Tailwind right here, and it's just going to be a moot turn. Jake can take advantage of this and switch out, if he wants the Thunders in or something. But
yeah, I think that's honestly Jake's best play. I would switch out Charizard for Thunderous and probably go for a Rock Slide or a Close Combat into the Weavile slot. We do see Aegislash going for the King's Shield. Charizard is not switching out as Protect happens after switch outs happen. We do see Close Combat going into the Weavile slot. That's going to bring it down to what's presumably a Focus Sash. And we do see Charizard not going for the Protect. That's going to be using possibly Heat Wave, possibly an Overheat. We will see in just a couple of seconds. We can see it going for the Heat Wave. It hits the Weavile. And that, oh my god. That's big. I think that's...
I don't agree with that play from Patrick.
I don't think Patrick gets Protect.
Yeah. He's revealed Protect, though.
On Weavile?
I believe so.
He did.
And I'm not sure why he didn't just stall out Tailwind. Because then he could have Ice Punched or Ice Sharded or whatever the Charizard.
Yeah. You're right. I honestly, this situation, switch out Charizard, Rock Slide. No, I think Terrakion probably is Earthquake. It's Life Orb Terrakion. I do remember seeing Tommy run a Terrakion with Earthquake. Mm-hmm. Although he would have probably wanted to use it last turn. I don't know. I'm very confused. But we're likely to see Charizard switch out to reset the sun, or just go straight for an Overheat.
Just going for the Rock Slide.
We'll see. Oh my god, that does so much damage.
Yeah, even in shield form.
We do see Overheat that will miss the Aegislash, actually. That's going to be pretty big. We see Aegislash instead going for a Flash Cannon onto the Terrakion slot. Patrick, obviously not thinking... I don't know, maybe thinking that Charizard wouldn't go for, move that turn.
I think he just knows, he just needs to hit. He just needs Overheat to miss, and he just went for it. Patrick is in a very tight bind, and he's just trying to close the game,
If Overheated, I don't see why he didn't Shadow Ball the Charizard that turn. Because if he had, he possibly could have won. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess Patrick just thought that he had no way of winning it, even if he did miss the Overheat, and was just gonna, go for the Flash Cannon knockout. Wasn't expecting him to survive that turn anyway, and and I think it all really comes down to 2 turns ago when he didn't protect with his
Weavile.
I mean, he was going for the hard read, expecting the Thunderous to switch
the Overheat connecting. That will take out the stream, actually, as we do see the stream going straight to the loading screen. Patrick, probably not that salty, but we do see Jake taking a solid 2-0 victory over him. Very strong showing from Major Bowman. That was one of the most decisive sets I have seen, especially against Patrick in this.
Definitely, both games were very convincing. I don't want to say one-sided. Game 1 was most certainly one-sided. Game 2 certainly was. It was anyone's game until the last couple of turns when Patrick unfortunately went for the harder read, and Jake was just like, "There's no point in me switching. I can preserve my win condition by just staying in and attacking that turn." So, Jake closing the game out.
And we do actually see this radically affecting the predictions tournament. So if you go to nuggetbridge.chalong.com/mbm4cut/predictions, you will see that Tommy
Jake, welcome. Congratulations, you've just won $75 at the minimum. What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm pretty excited. That was a really fun set. I thought Patrick played pretty well. That was just a lot of fun, honestly. Beat up and well, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I like your team, though. I think the Weavile is a pretty cool Pokemon. I think it's probably something that should be used a little bit more.
Is there Faint on the Weavile?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was actually really scared of Ice Shard at the end of that second game. I thought if you had that, you could have taken out Charizard, and I would have not really had a great way to beat Aegislash, but...
Or Faint. Faint is really...
Yeah, or Faint.
Faint is one of the best moves in the game, because no one expects it the first time you see it.
I kind of figured I wouldn't see Faint, just because I saw, Fake Out and Protect already, but, there is always the option.
I think that was a safe presumption, but we were just really hoping for it. Faint was definitely, for whatever reason, if you just happen to have Faint, then it was the best move at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does make sense why he wouldn't have it after already revealed that.
So, next game, I believe you face the winner